All right. So with that being said, so I'm Dev. You got my colleague Jashawn.
Nice to meet you.
Another Jamal should be on his way in.
Okay.
In about like 30 minutes, but that is what it is. So talk to us, man. Where do you want to start? Actually, you know what? Let's go way back.
Okay.
So obviously you're Canadian. You're from Canada,
Yeah.
right? Born and raised in Winnipeg, BC.
Yeah, Winnipeg, Manitoba.
Winnipeg, Manitoba. All right. Yeah. So us being Canadian, we kind of know where that is. But just talk to people who may not understand like where that is, and then just like the background of Winnipeg, Manitoba, and the culture out there, and like
Okay, so for sure. Usually when people ask me here, like where Winnipeg is, I always say it's above Minnesota. So that helps like to outline where Manitoba is. But yeah, so I've lived in Winnipeg most of my life. It's really crazy how Winnipeg football, especially now, has really evolved, because usually everybody that went D1 from my city went to University of North Dakota. And my one of my friends and me, we changed that, we changed that narrative of everybody in Winnipeg. There's only been like 2-3 guys before that went D1, and they all went to UND. So one of my best friends, he's at University of Minnesota now. And me, I'm at University of Richmond now. And then I got 2 other my teammates. One's at Robert Morris and one's at Dartmouth. And the reason why we got these looks was from a program called Recruit Ready. So Recruit Ready is essentially, it's like a large recruiting service. They run 7-on-7s and do camps. So I was able to get that exposure from a really, really young age. I actually started off in the grade 8, and we would go to camps. Like I would go to camps throughout my whole high school career. And we were able to go to many 7-on-7 tournaments, Atlanta, Las Vegas. And for me, just getting that exposure at such a young age, my game was really able to evolve over time. And every time like I would go back from these camps, I would always be better than everybody else, because I'd be going up against the best competition. So just having that recruiting service really developed me as a player. And the program now it's been evolving even more and more. We actually have 2 young guys right now, 3 young guys now that are going into their senior year. Yeah. One of them, Sean, by the name of Sean Civilano, has offers from Ohio State. And the other one, actually, Dallas Sims, he just committed to the University of Minnesota. So those 2 guys, just after like we set the standard, like Nathan Karabatsakis, me and Rylan Kelly, and guys like Zach Leto, we've set the standard now that Winnipeg athletes are now like, we're getting put on the map. We have the Toronto, everybody was talking about how Ontario, Alberta, all the other provinces have been getting that attention. But now, especially now, Manitoba has been getting a lot more attention, because the Recruit Ready, they do a great job of putting kids in position, especially in front of coaches. Like now, since COVID is not as not of a thing anymore. Yeah. Because during my time, so I had to play a senior. I didn't have a senior season. I was balling out, and I wasn't able to go to camps my junior year. So I didn't get that opportunity. So I had to be like, and our senior season was, I had no senior season. So I had to go to Clearwater, Florida. It's where I'm pretty sure you guys are familiar with Clearwater, Florida. So essentially it's basically all the best Canadian players, as well as European players. Yeah, all the best players come on the same team. We all balled out, and Clearwater has now won back-to-back state titles. And the team, and everybody's like, who are these players from? The players are from Canada mostly, and some Europe. Yeah, and you look at that roster, you're like, God, yeah. You're like, what? And then it's just crazy to see how Canadian athletes now, especially now, have been like, there's a lot more than usual, because everybody knows, like, a lot of people know now that Canadian players can play, and we've proved it. And people like here when I came in here, they weren't expecting me to be that strong of a player. And I actually got to play this year. I was the only freshman that actually got playing time. So I didn't redshirt. I was a true freshman. And coaches they knew I was good, but they didn't expect me to have such a pretty good impact on the first half of my season, because who expects a Canadian player to come in and play? Like, not many people. The Americans are like, they're not better than me.
Exactly.
But it's just I think there's with Canadian players, I think there's a little chip on your shoulder because you're always growing up. Americans are the best, you know. The Americans, they got better things, but it's like they got the same two legs as I do. Why can't I do that? So just me, I've always had that competitive edge. I've ran track. Actually, one of your athletes, one of the athletes that was on here, Alec, I know he was in there. We're actually really good friends.
Oh,
and yeah, really good we ran track against each other. We raced a bunch of times, and it's funny. He actually told me. I remember when we were both freshmen. He told me he told me that he's gonna commit to Stanford. He was gonna find an offer to get Stanford. But we always talked. Both of us knew I was always for me personally. I always knew I was gonna find a way to play Division I football in America somehow. I was gonna make it happen, and I promised my parents that I'm gonna get a full scholarship. So, but yeah, it's awesome just seeing future athletes getting the opportunity, just me being from Winnipeg and just making getting that opportunity to play here is special. But I only see Canadian football is really evolving, and Canadian football players are really evolving now. And it just makes me so happy that people are starting to realize that Canadian players can play. So yeah.
Nah, man, I'm telling you, you guys are really paving a different type of way.
Sure.
I was blessed enough I went to Canada Prep after my St. Francis year. I did my postgrad at Canada Prep, so I was actually roommated with Neville Gallimore.
Okay.
So me and Neville. I witnessed everything firsthand because Neville wasn't even that guy 2 years prior. And kind of seeing the work he put in to then where he became a monster, obviously 5-star recruit, whatever, any school he wanted to. And but just seeing the work ethic he put in, and then when he committed to Oklahoma, it was a huge thing. And then after him, all of a sudden, guys are just
exactly.
And it's dope to see because it's not only guys just getting offers and they're just happy to be there.
Exactly.
But it's there's these Canadians that are not only playing in American ball, but playing at a high level and they're actually playing. You know what I mean? So it's dope. It's dope that you even got take as a true freshman.
Exactly.
I feel like you're right when it comes on to being a Canadian. You have a chip on your shoulder because those Americans walk around there already thinking I'm better than you. There's no question. I am better than you. Why? Because I'm American. That's just
exactly.
That's their mindset.
That's their mindset.
It takes a different mindset to really understand. Hey, I belong here, and for sure, just by the way you were speaking, you could tell you had that dog in you from the jump to even get there, right? You even said that you promised your parents, I'm gonna go D1. Playing period. Don't know how I'm gonna do it yet, but I'm gonna go D1. And it worked out.
It did work out. But I'll say this, it wasn't easy for me because during with the COVID thing, I had actually one of the reasons why I was able to get scholarships towards the end of the season, because going into my prep year, I only had one offer and it was uncommittable. It wasn't a full scholarship. So and actually one of my first offers, University of North Dakota, then COVID hit and then they were unsure about the numbers. So it was actually my last high school game on the prep team. It was actually against the IMG Academy B team. I actually this is my last game. So I went I got 4 picks, 8 tackles, and a touchdown. So, and then it brought that attention, and Sports Illustrated actually posted a little thing on me. So school started to hit me up, but I also started to reach out to schools. And Richmond, actually after the first signing day, because I didn't sign the first signing day because I didn't have any full scholarships, they actually hit me up and they wanted to meet me. And I got a couple other scholarships: Charleston Southern, Jacksonville State, and a D2 Valdosta. So I visited Charleston. I visited Jacksonville State. I originally was gonna commit to Jacksonville State, but I didn't end up visiting Richmond because I scheduled Jacksonville State, but I didn't enjoy their culture. And then I decided Richmond was the best school for me just because the conversation I had with the coach, and he came to visit me, and I was able to visit them after I committed. And it was definitely a great choice. It got good academics, good football. made it to the playoffs this year. We got to the second round. We lost to Sacramento State. Really good. I think they were number 2 team in the FCS.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a crazy experience for me, especially because going into that senior season without going in with any camps, I knew I had a lot to prove. So even though I was a really good player and I had really good film from my junior season, but I hadn't played in 2 years. So yeah, but like that game, for sure. Like I made sure I leave my mark in school, started to see, and Richmond took a chance on me. And since they took a chance on me, they've known that I've been a good player. So it takes a lot of work. Like for a lot, it's not easy. A lot of people tell me like, oh, you got this offer, but they don't see what like the behind the scenes, especially like the behind the scenes, like the amount of work I put in my whole life, especially like my parents are really supportive of me, especially my dad. We've trained conditioning. That's what separates me from a lot of people is my conditioning. And actually, one of my coaches by the name of Tim Jesse plays for Auburn. He played for Auburn back in the day. He played behind Bo Jackson. He trains me. So just me like the physical and mental part definitely came from my dad and my training, as well as the recruit ready part, because a lot of people think it's easy, but it's not easy till you get here. It's different. It's a whole nother ball game, especially, when you talk about the college system. Like for me, especially since I had to play, the older guys got on me about playbook, about knowing the playbook. Like, man, like the amount of stuff you got to know. Because not only do you have to know what your position is, you got to know what the next guy, like you got to know what the will linebacker is, what the corner is doing, what the safety is doing. You got to know the ins and outs. Like you would expect in high school, you can just do almost.
You kind of roll. You can just gotta be a guy.
You can do what you want, but when you get to the college level, it's not like it's like it's work. It's literally a job. That's what I realized is definitely the biggest shift from high school and college. It's just that every little thing matters, like stance, like your position on the field, your movements. Like coaches really emphasize your movements, and there's so many little things. Like I still have a lot of things to work on, but I've definitely gotten better and more confident. And it is like what it comes down to is your confidence. If you play with confidence, you're gonna be fine. But yeah, that's definitely. For me, that's definitely the biggest transition for me from college to high school.
Oh shoot, that just gave us a lot in that one question, man.
Right.
But that's good to have. Like that's good to hear, because at the end of the day, it is all like it's all mental. At the end of the day, you gotta be willing to know. Hey, it's once like first of all, it's like for you, like you obviously know firsthand. Getting the offer, that's like, okay, that's just the first step. Like
Exactly.
you made it yet, know? Because then it's like when you get down there, it's a whole different ballgame. But before we even touch up on that, let's go way back to it. Just talk to us about your time in Manitoba. Like, was football your first love? Did you always have a passion for it?
Yeah, football was definitely my first love. I started playing when I was 6. My older brothers, they played, but I always knew I was going to be better than them. But they're my brothers, my closest brother. He's the books. He got 4.0, and my other brothers, he's a nurse now too. So I always knew I was gonna play football. But actually, at the start of my freshman year, I was gonna pursue track. I was gonna pursue track more. I was focusing on track more, and then COVID hit, and then I didn't have any meets, so I just started to focus on football. But yeah, I've been playing football for 15 years. I've been playing football. I grew up watching football always with my dad and my parents. Like we go to CFL games. We go to a lot of CFL games, just watching the game. That's one thing I did as a kid. I always watched football, especially college football. I love college football. Like I always knew I was gonna play college football somewhere down here. So yeah,
I feel that a lot of people even say like there's a different type of like if you love college football, like that's how you know you really love football, because NFL, I mean, it's kind of like everything, where they always say like when the bag's there, it's kind of different.
Yeah.
But like now when there's no money on the line, it's just basically the all playing for the one title type of thing. It's
Yeah.
like the intensity, the love is just there. That's why you can obviously firsthand, like you're currently in uni.
Hmm.
Like you have people at all ages at your games. You know what I mean? Like it's not even like, oh, only people in university show up. It's like
Yeah,
now, like, especially we talk about alumni and all. It's like it's a whole different atmosphere.
for sure.
That's dope to hear. Have you always been playing DB? Like has DB been
Yeah,
your only
I
position?
played growing up, yeah, I played DB, safety, linebacker, but I played a little running back.
Okay.
Played a little running back when I was younger in high school, but yeah, I've always played DB, played safety and corner. So,
Okay. All right. So yeah. So
Side of the ball.
sorry.
So did you like being on the offensive side of the
Oh
ball?
yeah, I
I know
did
DBs
definitely.
there.
Teams definitely noticed when I was on the other side of the ball, especially in high school and community football, because they knew how explosive I was.
I hear that. All right. So talk to us because a lot of these high school athletes and shoot, even some university athletes really don't understand the importance of film study.
Film
So
study, yeah.
talk to us about film study and like you're
Film study.
adjusting to it and everything.
Honestly, yeah, like I said before, film study is so important. Like what I'm talking about, like for me early, I had struggles with the technique. I had to watch a lot of film, just seeing other guys doing their movements and just making sure, because especially when you get into the games, you got to know like where the receiver is. Based off like the receiver's alignment, you might have to change your coverage, or you can change your coverage. And just knowing what, like, if you know what your opponent's gonna do, you're obviously gonna have the upper edge. That's why you see players making so many plays. So just this film study is 100. You'll like a lot of athletes will realize how important film is. Like even it was crazy. Like I was on the kickoff team. I would never think to study on kickoff. Like you gotta know. You gotta know what angle you gotta take on kickoff, where your landmark is. In high school, you're just running down the field and trying to
Yeah.
go tackle them. But in college, no, you got a specific thing you gotta do. So yeah, a film study. Oh, big emphasis on film study. Like even today, I had a meeting with my coach. What we were doing, film study, watching film, going over plays, going over new coverages, and now I'll like before a game, you got to go over your film. You got to look at the receiver's tendencies. And yeah, film study is really big in college.
Dope. You see, yeah, man. So if you guys are watching this, hey, get in your playbooks and watch your studies, watch your film. All right. So now, if you don't mind, talk to us about your transition from St. Paul's to Clearwater.
Oh, St. Paul's to Clearwater.
And also, like, how did Clearwater come about? Because obviously, I feel like if you know about Clearwater, like, and you're a Canadian high school athlete, you want to go to Clearwater. But obviously, there's so many prep schools. Like, what made you go to Clearwater specifically?
So actually, before, two of my really good close friends, since I didn't have a senior season, so one of them, he was going into the senior season, left, and he moved to Clearwater. So just having him and seeing what he accomplished, and my other friend Nathan, he actually left, but he was he was grade 12, but he wanted to do another year, so he did a post-grad year at Clearwater. So just having them and seeing that both of them earned a scholarship, like I knew if I went there I would earn a scholarship. And just talking with the head coach, he knew I could play right away, just based off my junior season film. He knew I could fit into the defense really well. But now the transition for me personally is definitely Florida high school football, a lot of fast guys. But for me, I was always the fast one, especially in St. Paul's. I would dominate.
You come from track, so it kind of makes sense.
Yeah, I came from track, so the transition wasn't too hard, but it was definitely the speed of the players. I'd say Florida high school football really helped with college football because them Florida boys are fast, quick and fast, like Tyreek, like quick and fast. They're nothing to mess with. But I was able to match that because just knowing me, like I've always been fast. So the transition wasn't too bad, to be honest, especially talking about like dimensions and everything. But it was definitely the speed. But I always knew I could play high school in the States too. Like I knew once I started playing football there was a wide difference between me and everybody else.
Okay, dope.
Mhm.
So let's kind of really get in depth, and so talk to us about, because you said going into the first signing that you didn't have the offer,
Yeah.
right? So talk to us about how you felt the day you got your first offer. Like even before, was Richmond the first one you said? Or was that before?
Well, UND was my first offer when I was in 10th grade, but it wasn't really committable. Like usually when they
Yeah.
offer that early, they just offer just a little.
Yeah.
But actually it was Charleston Southern. So yeah, I'll talk about that.
Yeah.
It was during that time period because I had to go back to Florida because we finished school, like the school finished in December, and then I had to go back to Canada and come back for the recruiting period. It's where coaches get to visit.
Okay.
So, it was definitely a relief because I knew like when I went home, like I didn't have any doubts. I knew I was gonna find some way. The amount of Twitter messages I did, like a lot of kids don't understand like the amount of coaches I went through to contact and just getting those contacts from my coaches, like emailing, sending text messages. I would spend hours and hours on Twitter and email, just emailing coaches and just getting that like offer when I heard the full scholarship, it was definitely a relief. It was Charleston Southern. And then following that came Jacksonville State and then Richmond. But I always knew Richmond was different because just I had that relationship with the coach. Like he's still now a defensive coordinator. I knew it was different. And the way he texted me, the way like he called me, he said, "We want you to be here." That's the thing. A lot of recruits now, you got to go where you're wanted. You don't want to go where like they can be the best of the best, but they might not want you. You got to go where you're wanted because a lot of recruits get stuck up on the popularity, but it's important that you go where you're needed and where you're wanted. That's one thing too. That's a lot of kids, just seeing Richmond too. Like I didn't expect Richmond, like everybody's good. D1 is D1.
Yeah.
D1 is D1. That's what I tell a lot of people. D1 is D1.
Yep, and that's a lot of people don't understand. Like I remember even myself going through the recruiting process at the time. It was kind of like obviously you're in high school, right? So like you're looking at it completely different. To say, hey, you got D1 A's, you got D1 double A's. Okay, you got D2s. You don't ever want to really touch D3s. And at the end of the day, like you kind of realize, hey, first of all, talent's talent, right? Like the talent at all levels. Sometimes like the higher the D1 is obviously at an extremely high level, but at the end of the day, like there's still talent in the D3.
Exactly.
But now that's beyond dope to hear. And you're right about what you're saying, going where you wanted, because at the time, was Dion still at Jacksonville State?
Oh no, this is Jacksonville State.
Oh, Jacksonville State, not Jackson. Okay.
Yeah, State. It's Jacksonville State. So it's a team in Alabama. It's like they just turned FBS actually. But everybody else they always got to mix up with Jackson State. But yeah, it's a smaller school, but it's Jacksonville Gamecocks. But yeah.
Would you have chosen Jackson State if it was an option?
Sorry, maybe. I mean, Dion. Actually, I don't know if I would have went. Dion
if Dion was there.
If he stayed, maybe yeah.
I don't see nah. As a DB2, I don't see nah.
Honestly, I don't know how many people are gonna go there now, committed wise. But now that's dope to hear for real. That's so now at Richmond. Just talk to us about your first time during camp. Did you go in as like a fall student or did you go in like early?
They didn't accept any early enrollees. I don't know.
So you went into
it's just one of the things that they do. They bring in. So actually, I came in the summer. We do a 5-week summer camp. Starts in June, end of June, goes till July. Just definitely you like right away I seen that everybody's really good and everybody's athletic. But when it got to fall camp, is when it really turned up, especially just seeing like the biggest difference too is the physicality. I wasn't worried about the speed because I always knew the physicality. You gotta block. You gotta go against
So,
tight ends, these running backs trying to
talk
run
to
you
us
over.
about it because you're
Everybody's
walking in
trying
at
to
what?
fight. Yeah, everybody's trying to fight each other because they're competing for a spot. And actually, injured like a part of college football, you're gonna get injured. So I injured my hamstring during camp, and that was not fun. Not fun. I had to battle through that, but I eventually recovered. But yeah, definitely camp physicality. The physicality and the heat. Virginia is pretty hot, but I was kind of used to it because of Florida.
Mhm.
But yeah, it was great to be in an environment where you're around guys that want that they're at the D1 level and that are as good as you, and you're learning from other guys. Like you're competing with other guys at the position. So I actually had to beat out 2 other guys that were older than me, and the guy that was ahead of me, he taught me a lot. He's a 6th year now, so he taught me a lot in terms of just being confident, and coaches knew I was a good player, so they definitely could see how I could fit into the defense right away. So they saw that just throughout the season I started to progress more, just starting to understand the playbook. So yeah, it was definitely awesome. Fall camp was definitely a humbling experience for sure. Cause
Well, it
man,
happened, right? Like that jump from high
yeah,
school being the guy to now
yeah,
get at the bottom of the list again. It's like, oh
yeah,
shit, now you gotta work.
for
And
sure.
especially in your position, a lot of guys crumble because everyone knows during camp, everyone's competing. Like you could have been a starter last year, but hey,
Mm-hmm.
camp comes, there's a whole new year, it's a whole new guys coming in. So like you
Exactly.
gotta compete. And like especially like how did you feel when pulling your hammy, knowing it's like, yo, I'm trying to compete for time.
Yeah, it was obviously like I remember that during that time, I was really down. Like I was down because I knew, like, even when I was trying to come back from my injury, I wasn't 100%, and I knew the coaches. Like, you can't really like tell the coaches that you're hurt. You got to keep on pushing through. But I couldn't really like show my full potential.
Yeah.
But the coaches knew like because I was balling in the first couple of practices. Like the coaches knew I could play. So and then just having that injury kind of gave a little setback. But once I like fully recovered, the coaches knew like this boy's a player.
That's dope. That's dope. Like, yeah, you basically, hey man, that just goes to show like who you
Yeah.
are, the athlete and even the competitor you are, right?
Yeah.
Because
For
hey,
sure.
although like like that underlying rule of like, you can't really tell the coaches. There are some guys who are just gonna be like, hey, yo, coach, I can't go, and
Yeah.
like some guys just happy to be there at the end of the day.
Exactly. That's the thing. A lot of guys that just want to wear the jersey. It's about the extra work. Like one of the things that separated me from all the other freshmen is first thing I made sure I got with the older guys. Like I would train with them like right away on weekends. I remember in summer camp, I would just say, hey, what's up? Let's do some they were doing footwork, and the older guys like keep coming back. That's how I got so tight. And that was probably one of the main reasons why I played so right away. And then even after in summer camp, when everybody was doing whatever else, I would go to the coach's office and ask them all plays because I wanted to learn the playbook as fast as possible. So just it's on it, like just putting the little stuff in, like extra film study, like by me going to the coaches, it shows how much I want it. And just training like right away with the older guys. I that's one thing I made sure too. That's what I like to tell other athletes when I talk to my friends. Like I went back to Clearwater. I gave like a similar talk to this, telling them how it is important, like just studying the plays and getting with the older guys, because the older guys are going to help you because they were in your position at one point. So just learning from the older guys really helped me evolve my game.
For sure, and like that's a good like little note to have because like you said, they've been through it before. So it's not like in order to get to your third year, you have to go for your first one. So
Yeah,
they kind of understand the ropes and obviously they know the playbook. Well, I mean, you hope they know the playbook. And yeah, no, that's dope. That's dope. And that's like a great trait to have, knowing like, hey, I'm gonna come in. I know although I'm at the bottom, I'm gonna try to soak up as much game as possible.
Yeah.
And you see, look where that led you. So now leading into this, like, talk to us about your first time strapping up for your first collegiate game.
For sure.
How
So
you felt and
First collegiate game, like real game. I got to play a little bit at the end of the game, but like the game that they really just like they put me in on third downs like every drive. So that the game definitely it was definitely crazy because you're playing your first like real college football game where you have an impact. But I was excited. I was excited to compete because knowing I'll get playing time in pivotal moments, especially on third down, I was able to contribute well. Actually, I had a big tackle, and I had a PBU in the end zone on fourth down. So just getting that under my game off my belt was definitely it was. I was nervous, but I knew I could ball with these guys because I'm as fast as them. I'm as good as them. So just that the first experience, yeah, definitely was. It was definitely different because you're playing against grown men with kids.
Yeah,
Grown men with kids. But yeah, it was definitely a crazy experience. And now going into this year, I'll definitely be more confident in
you've been there before.
myself.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's dope. That's dope, man. Like, congrats to you so far in your journey, because that's crazy.
It's only getting started though. I
Yeah.
got a lot of stuff to prove still. Got a lot of stuff that I want to accomplish.
So given that being said, what are some of the things you're actually working on or you plan on changing in your game for this upcoming season compared to last
season? So right now they're actually I'm actually playing they're playing me at two positions right now. So right now I'm actually playing corner because they see how versatile I am. So I'm learning the corner position. Just me now knowing the safety position and the corner position is put a plus because once you know what I want to make sure I know every position on the field, what the linebacker's doing and what the corner's doing, what the safety's been doing. And just me having that knowledge and putting that on the field will make everything so much easier and click. So definitely, I still got a lot of stuff to work on when it comes to playbook. I still do. I was getting better throughout the year. I was starting to understand. So yeah, definitely. I want to improve on my technique. Technique is everything. Technique is everything.
100%.
That's one thing. Coaches knew I was fast, but definitely they emphasized my technique, and this spring ball, my technique has definitely gotten better because spring balls were a time where they try out new things. So they want to see me at another position, see if I could ball at this position, and just being a versatile player means a lot on the field too.
So talk to us now about your academic side of things. So what is it you're studying, and how's school been so far?
Oh yeah, school's been good. I actually came from a family that always emphasized the importance of education. So I went to a private school. So that's one thing too. Academics is important because schools don't want guys that are or just in general girls and guys that are not good in academics. So yeah, my parents made a large emphasis on doing good in school. So I actually finished with a 3.2 last semester, and I'm on pace to finish with another 3.0 this semester. And Richmond, especially, is a really good academic school. So actually, I plan on doing. I want to become a teacher. That's one of my goals that I want to do after football, because football doesn't last forever. So yeah, education, yeah, is definitely important in terms of. In terms of eligibility, because you can't sometimes, if you fail a class, you can't play or you can't practice in some cases. So yeah, education is really important in terms of like right now, even before this, I had to read for my class. And one thing about college, you got to know how to manage your time, and schedule, and scheduling too is really important. How you use your time effectively, because comes football, comes academics. And that definitely it wasn't a huge shift for me, just from the high school I came from. Private school, had a lot of exams and everything and homework. But yeah, it's been pretty smooth for the most part because I'm pretty good at managing my time effectively.
Oh, that's dope. That's great to hear. And a lot of these kids have to understand, once you get to that college level, time management is literally everything.
Time management is everything.
So talk to us now on that, touching on the time management topic. Talk to us about a day in your life. How is it scheduled during season, and then
Okay.
now off season?
So during season, usually like like Monday to Thursday, we lift about 2-3 times a week. Um, we would I'm trying to think now, because we'd start off. I'm trying to think. Some certain days, I forgot it. I think on Mondays we would lift.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, we would have practice in the morning, and then we would have class, and then you would lift, and that's Monday through Wednesday,
Yeah.
and then Thursday is usually like your game prep, your walkthrough, and then Friday usually leave for the game. In season isn't too bad, but you'll have a lot of you'll have the lifts aren't heavy, but in the off seasons was crazy. Like my first college off season, I'm telling you, that was, I mean, like I'm still going through it, but like in the winter program, just waking up early, it was definitely, and you're lifting heavy weight. Like when you go to college, you like, I couldn't clean or do anything. Like I went to college not knowing how, like my form wasn't great, but it develops over time. And so it takes time for me, and I'm trying to put on more weight. But I've definitely got better in the weight room, and especially you got to wake up in the morning too, 6-7 a.m. It was definitely
I was about to say what time like yeah, what's
yeah.
your day, what's like right now, like what's the day in the life of like
Oh,
what's
day in the life. So this morning, I'll actually talk about my day tomorrow. So
okay.
tomorrow I got a 7 a.m. workout, and that's the earliest workout. So wake up at like around 6:20.
Okay.
Go to the facility, get ready, and work out. They say 7 o'clock, but it starts like 10 minutes earlier. So it'll be like 6:50,
Yeah.
and work out. After you work out, you got to get in your fueling station, whatever food, whatever. Then I got class at 9. So the workout starts at 7, goes to 8:30. Got to rush to class because it's class at 9. And I have back to back. I have 3 classes in a row. So I have class till 9 till about 12. And then after that, um eat lunch, and then we have meetings, and then after we eat meetings, we have practice. So that's your spring practice, and then after practice, you know what you got to do your homework. So
Yeah.
that's a day in the life. That's a day in the life. So that's gonna be my day tomorrow. So I gotta go to bed. I'm probably gonna watch the March Madness final and then probably go to
Yeah.
bed.
I hear that.
Mhm.
Yeah, now
Yeah.
like that college life and like during the season is cool, but man, that off
Yeah.
season, like,
Off season is
the
just
off season hits you different.
they get you. That's for sure.
Well, obviously you're gonna have a big off season, I'm assuming. So
Mhm.
talk to us, like what are some things that you feel like you want to improve this off season going into year two?
Going into year two, like I said, just knowing what the other positions, knowing and being more confident, not thinking too much, because when you think too much, you make mistakes, and just being relaxed, because now I know the system.
Yeah.
So I know the system well, and I'm learning 2 different positions, which only gonna make me better because I'll know the defense better. So just being confident and being more relaxed. And I feel like now, by me being more relaxed now, I'm starting to play like myself. Like I'm starting to be myself instead of thinking about what you got to do. You just playing like once you know what you got to do, your technique. Like if you master your technique, you're gonna play better. That's what I realized. Like once the techniques start clicking, everything comes easier, easier, easier.
Yeah.
And I was actually having like a lot of the guys from our high school. We still in a group chat, and we're talking about how like the improvement from their start into now, like just how much like a full season has done. Like you've learned a lot. You learn from the older guys going to the spring
Mhm.
season. Everything's playing. Like I literally had a conversation with one of my friends. He actually is at University of Alabama, Isaiah Hastings. We learned having a conversation about how I asked him how spring ball going. He's like, everything's coming easier now. Just learning from the other guys is it's really helped me, and I'm starting to feel like myself, because in the first year trying to figure out who you like, where you fit, what's your technique, what do you got to do. So just being more comfortable is definitely something I'm gonna it's gonna make the jump.
No, that's dope. That's dope. That's actually honestly again like great mindset going into year two, and
Yeah.
like, we have no like we know you're gonna ball just because of
Sure.
just because of your preparation.
Mm-hmm.
So with that being said, now like looking back at your old self, like a younger version of yourself, like what
Yeah.
advice would you give your younger self?
What
Knowing
advice?
what you know now, like
Knowing what I know now,
yeah, what would you tell your younger
Both
self?
both in sports and in life in general.
in
Yeah,
life in general,
And sports.
just telling myself to just like one thing, just be yourself. Don't try to be something that you're not. Like from a young age, I was always like I grew up like I was always the humble kid. I was never the kid to brag or show off or anything. Just telling myself, just be confident, just be yourself. Be yourself is definitely because being yourself goes a long way. And yeah, just telling myself, just be yourself and going 100%, never taking anything off because as long as you're going 100%, even if you get even if you do something wrong, it still looks good. So
yeah,
definitely,
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember that. I remember the film studies there. And as long as you go 100%, at least,
yeah,
hey, coach, man, I tried. I tried.
The
You see it.
effort. It's the
yeah,
effort.
effort
See
is
it.
everything.
I know I had a flash, but you see me bust my ass to get deep. Hey, coach,
Yeah,
just letting you know. I
yeah.
hear
And
you. I hear you.
one thing I'll say too is um I don't want to like put that like a lot of like the difference between me and a lot of other players is they can't take criticism.
Mm-hmm.
So it is really important to be coachable because the coaches will see that. Like I like to pride myself on not like a coach says something to you, you respond saying yes, coach, or like I understand, coach. Because some guys, they won't look a coach in the eye. They won't look a coach in the eye and just be like, oh, whatever. I'm doing my own thing. Some players are just gonna keep on reverting back to what they usually do, but you gotta like it's important to take in the information because they're only trying to help you. So that's what I realized when I've been here that separated me from a lot of other players, being coachable and just making sure that you're understanding where they're coming from. Because if they're yelling at you, they want the best for you. They want
Yep,
the best for
Yep.
you.
for sure. For sure. All right, man. Those are some hidden gems in that
Yeah,
response.
for
Yeah,
sure.
there's definitely going to be a lot of kids even from your neighborhood, just from Canada,
Yeah.
especially on the West Coast side of things. Because as you mentioned at the beginning, like me being from Montreal, well, me and
Yeah.
Sean we both be from Montreal.
Mhm.
Like I say it all the time, Quebec's cheating. We have this whole siege up thing.
Oh, CTF, yeah.
Yep.
No, they're cheating. It's a cheating system. I don't
I
care.
know, I know some guys
You're
about
walking into university at 21. I'm not hearing it.
Yeah.
yeah,
It's like a
I heard
pre-prep.
about
It's
that.
like a pre-prep.
Right?
Yeah,
But like so obviously that's why like Quebec has that benefit. You hear a lot of the studs coming out of Ontario.
yeah,
Like you don't hear a lot. Like even when we speaking to Alec, like you do not hear a lot, at least at the time, coming out of like out west. And now that you guys are just popping dudes out year after
yeah.
year. And so
It's
it's
awesome.
crazy.
It's awesome to see. It makes me happy because um guys that like I used to look up to by the name of Brady Oliveira, he I really looked up to him. I think he played for did he play for Canada Prep?
Yep,
Or
he went to
yeah,
Canada Prep.
yeah,
That's how when you said and North Dakota State or North Dakota, whatever that's
yeah,
what's on. I'm like, I swear Brady went there coming
yeah.
out. Yeah,
So just when I was in grade 8, like he told me, I want you to go better than me. I know you can go D1. So once I heard it from someone else, like that you can do it, I knew I could do it. I knew I can do it. And now I go back to recruit ready, help out, I give talks. Like I tell I'm motivating the next generation of players. So
for sure.
um usually like when I go back in a month or so and I'm actually the end of the month I'm going back, I'm gonna go there, help out, talk to the guys. Tell them what's up. And yeah.
Nah, for sure though, for sure. So before you even get to like our last like quick hitters, like who would you say helped you along the way, like on the journey? I know you gave props to your parents beforehand, but like
Mhm.
are there any coaches that you felt like really helped you get to where you are today?
Oh, for sure. I mentioned my dad and Coach Jesse, but I would say the man that runs Recruit Ready program, Coach Brad Black and Kelly Butler. They just played a huge role in terms of me getting in front of a lot of college coaches, because I needed a platform, and just having Coach Brad and alongside like me and my friend Rylan Kelly, he's on Minnesota. Just having him and him putting us in situations where we can show our skills, especially in the 7-on-7. Because when I started a 7-on-7 at a young age, grade, like I was 8th grade. I went to Las Vegas. I saw how good these players were. I didn't play much, but then the next tournament, I kept on improving and improving. And in my 9th grade year, I made the huge leap, and my coach was like, "What? Like, we need to get him. We need him in front of coaches now." And me and my friend Rylan Kelly, our coach was able to send us to camps and everything, and get us in contact with college coaches. So yeah, he's definitely him and Kelly Butler. He's actually a former NFL player and a CFL player. So him, he's definitely been a huge influence in terms of my football career. Because without the Recruit Ready program, I wouldn't be in the situation I am now with all these opportunities and being able to go to Florida, because he was the one who contacted them and got their information through Recruit Ready. So yeah, like Recruit Ready is definitely like I'm never gonna like I'm always gonna have their back, and I'm never gonna stop supporting them, because they're the reason why these kids are now powerful. Like one of the younger kids now, Sean Civillano, he's literally out at Ohio State right now. Like, who would expect a Winnipeg kid potentially going to Ohio State?
Yeah.
It's just awesome to see. And my other, like, he played with him too. He's from Winnipeg. He just committed to Minnesota. He's joining Rylan Kelly. So it's just really awesome to see.
Yeah, that's dope. That's dope. Yeah, and like you said, hey, especially when you come from Quebec, you were not hearing that come out of
Exactly.
Minnesota,
Like,
Winnipeg
even
at all.
just all over, can't like you see everybody, like Quebec, like everywhere you see guys playing. Like, it's crazy. It's awesome to see. It's
bro. No, it's true. And like even like those recruiting services, man, like kids don't understand. Like for some reason, a lot of parents think it's a scam all the time.
Yeah.
Um,
And Recruit Ready is free too. It's actually a free program, so it even works out. That's why we've been so successful, because people wanna showcase their talents.
for sure. It's funny though, because like parents think it's a scam and all that, especially.
Yeah.
I think what happens in those type of situations, their kid might not be D1. Like, and it's just sometimes the reality of it. Like,
yeah, exactly.
He might just not be a D1 guy, because maybe he might just not want it.
Exactly.
And those kids, like the parents are like, oh well, we brought you this person, and oh well, you didn't go D1. Oh, it's a fraud. It's like not
Exactly.
really. Like
You
at the end of the day, yeah, bro, the kid
Not
needs
give
It's about the work.
Yeah.
Exactly. All right, so let's get into these quick hitters real quick. Who do you think would think if there's a player you would model your game after? Who would you think? Who would you say it is?
I really like watching Buda Baker. Buda Baker's he's a smaller guy.
Yeah.
I just love watching a lot of smaller DBs, because they're one thing with smaller DBs, they're tenacity, they're feisty. So, and they fear nobody. Like I go into any situation, even practice. I feel like I don't care how big you are, I'm gonna hit you. Like, you gotta have that mentality. Like, I'm gonna hit you, and I don't care how big you are, how tall you are. That's one thing about smaller players. You play with the edge. Like, I play with the edge. And yeah, definitely Buda Baker. Who else? Obviously Tyrann Matthew. You've seen it. Smaller guy. But yeah, just those guys are definitely I would say I model my game after.
Nah, like there's something about you, like the shorter, quote unquote, shorter DB. Like you guys have some type of dog in you for sure. Because like I remember my boy Jamal, well, the partner Jamal, like we were talking to Malik Straker, right? And he's currently at Arkansas State. And he's like a linebacker safety slash. He's like a smaller dude too. But like just like you, like I think we looking through like your highlights and whatnot. the way you guys come down the hill and like I'm gonna
Yeah.
hit you. Like the
Exactly.
perspective, like your perception is like, hey, you guys might think you're able to like, chuck me.
Exactly.
It's like, hey,
Yeah.
man, hey, try it. You can try it.
They're gonna try you. They're gonna try you, but I'm gonna come down with the heat.
I'm gonna tell you, as a former receiver, trust me, you have that mindset. I catch that, you turn around, you see
Yeah.
a DB 65-7. It's like you're not popping me, and then your legs are not on the turf no more, and you're like, you see yourself in the air, you're like, yeah, no, they come with
Yeah,
like
Yeah, he got
it's
you.
it's them or you, and they know they're putting
for
that hit
sure.
on the line. So
Yeah.
yeah, I felt it. Speaking of DBs though, you brought up Matthew and Buda Baker. Who would you say is your top 5 DBs in the NFL right now?
Top 5 DBs in the NFL. At the safety position or just DBs in general.
You
You know
however
what? Give
you
us
feel
both.
like your list makes.
Mix the top 5
If you
secondary
want to go
players.
top 5 all around
So
DB, you can go top 5
top
safety,
5.
top 5 quarter. It's up to you.
We definitely got to go with. I think the most consistent, obviously, is Jalen Ramsey. Just his ability to go into every game and damn near lock down any
Yeah.
receiver. Then I'll go safeties. I'll go what's his name on the Chargers? Derwin James. Derwin James is a really good player. Derwin James is a really good player. It's too bad like sometimes he gets hurt. Who else I really like watching? In terms of corners, I still think Buda Baker's up there for safeties.
Yeah.
I love watching him play. You know what? I would think like for corners now, what's his name? Sauce Gardner. Sauce Gardner's been balling out.
Hey, man,
And his
already. That's
yeah.
wow. Hey, I don't know. Hey, you can tell me.
Sauce Gardner, I mean, like he hasn't he's not maybe not he's like top 8 right now, but he's gonna be up there because if when you wanna his style is kind of unorthodox. He kind of runs like weird
Yeah.
sense, but he makes up for it. He's been consistent. He's locked down. He only let up one touchdown this year,
Yeah.
and he's been consistent. And he had that confidence coming in. I'm gonna be that guy, and he's been that guy.
He's been that guy, yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Who else?
That's
Trying to think of who else. In terms of safeties. Nah, I'm not sure. But
you gonna talk about Minka?
He had something
wait, what'd you say?
on his mind though.
You're not gonna talk about Minka?
Oh, Minka Fitzpatrick. He's up there. I don't think he's one of the best though.
Oh wow.
He's a good player though. He's a good player.
It's fair.
You know what? I respect it though. I respect it.
Mhm.
I respect it. I remember me speaking to Alec. I forget what his top 5 receivers were, bro. And it was a battle with me and that guy. But
Yeah, Alex is a good player. Alex is a really good player.
Alex.
I've known him. I've known him since I was 8th grade.
Okay, so you guys go way back.
We go way back, way back.
Okay. So speaking of both, you
receivers actually, yeah, you just mentioned the wide receivers. So maybe not in NFL, we'll step away from that. Who would you say is the top 5 wide receivers that maybe you played against that either gave you the most trouble or just guys who you watched
okay,
like, yo, these are guys?
And this
for sure.
This is like anywhere. It could be from even younger.
Yeah. So I played 7-on-7, and we went to nationals. I played. What's his name? He's going into the draft right now. Actually, Jackson Smith and Jigba. I played against him. He was tough. He was tough. Probably him. Definitely up there.
Words. It's real. He's the real deal.
Yeah, he's a real deal. I remember going up against him. I was like, I didn't expect him. I guarded him a couple times, but he made it look easy. His little.
Yeah.
He did that little get off, but actually, and then toughest receiver I probably played against. You'll probably hear him more this year. He's actually on Ohio State too. Amika Ibuka, really good. He's a really good. He's on Ohio State too. Definitely the top. I think he was a 5-star in high school. It was in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
I was playing corner at the time. I don't know. His routes were NFL, like his release, like he did, and I was like, what the heck?
Every step in,
it's like, chill. Stick and go, beat me on a goal, head top. I was like, nah.
God damn.
But Yeah, definitely those two. I'm trying to think who else I went against. I went against a couple other 4 stars, bigger receivers in 7-on-7, but nothing really in tackle football per se. I was mostly playing safety and playing over top. So, but in terms of 7-on-7, yeah, I've guarded a lot of top talent. But it's definitely helped me with my game. It's not like I didn't compete with them. I still competed. Like I could still, like they're good players, but I'm a good player too. So
Yeah,
obviously I'm a
man.
ball out too.
Iron sharpens
So
iron.
yeah, we were
Sometimes
a
like
really
you
good.
just like you want those matchups, right? Like
Exactly.
remember, I'm playing. Cause me, I'm what am I? I would say 5'11". I would say that's 5'11", 240 at the time, playing outside linebacker. I'm coming off the edge. At the time, I'm playing this guy, Isaiah Wilson, never forget his name. And six, he went to Poly Prep. So this is in New York State. And like this is like right before he committed. He was already openly committed to Georgia, right? 5-star recruit, 5-star right tackle. But I tell you, this guy 6'7", 90 maybe, right?
Yeah.
I'm coming off the edge, and to this day, like the highlights out there on the internet, where and it was jokes because I was watching the NFL draft this one year when he was going to the draft, first round pick and everything, and I see the highlight, and I just see me getting dragged for like 8 yards, and it was just one of those situations, like you know the blind side and like Michael Oikon
Yeah.
picking the guy just drags him. Like it was real life shit where I'm like, time out, bro. Like I'm trying to you play defense, obviously. It's like, yo, if they get you, yo, drop your weight, drop. I'm trying to drop my weight. He just carry
Yeah.
it with ease, right? But it's at the end of the day, it's like for me at least, hey, I'm able to tell the story. But for someone like you, it's kind of like, even though you went up against these two like top dogs or whatever, currently at Ohio State, one guy going to the draft right now, like I felt like someone like you, like it really helped your game though, because
Oh, for
hey,
sure.
time out. In the moment at that time, like you know where you were, and I was like, okay, these guys are doing this, like this stuff I can improve on, you know.
For sure.
By the time you're ready to go into the draft, hey man, hey,
Yeah.
it's
That's
it's
the
gonna
goal.
it's gonna be you, man. I know
Mhm.
that's dope, man. That's dope. So before we wrap this up, just have like last question. So if you weren't playing football at a high level right now, what do you think you'd be doing?
If I wasn't playing football,
Yeah, like if your mind wasn't like let's just say like you're just in, I don't know, like even in uni or maybe not even in uni, football wasn't in your life right now.
if football wasn't in my life, I mean, I don't know. I just never. I always never thought. I always knew I was going to play football. Like I can't see myself not playing football. But obviously, like I said, I would. I want to be a teacher, so I'll probably be pursuing that in university. So yeah, I'll probably be pursuing teacher. But I always had love for the game. Always had love for the game.
Nah, that's
What would
amazing.
you want to teach if you could become a teacher? You want to teach university or?
I would teach elementary. I love kids. I have nieces and nephews. I always babysit them. So and I always like motivating kids because I'm really good with kids. Just I like spending time with kids.
Well, dope. Well, going into the very last question of the night, then, like speaking to kids, and what would be like some advice or a word of advice you would give to kids back in your hometown or any kid, Canadian or maybe even overseas or whatever, anyone who's in your shoes who wants to be where you
Oh, for
are?
sure. Just believe in yourself. That's one thing. Like I always believed in myself from a young age. I always knew what I was capable of. Just being confident goes a long way and having trust in yourself and always giving it 100%. And it doesn't matter what it is, school, everything. Just give 100% because you're always gonna get a good outcome. Because just knowing, just believing in yourself and seeing other people do what you always wanted to do, it just makes you want to push harder. So I've always had that edge to myself. As a young kid, I would I would always been that player that dominated, and it didn't matter practice anything. So I'll just believe in yourself because anything is possible if you put your mind to it. Anything is possible. Like I made a promise to myself I was gonna go D1. I made sure it happened. Like when I came home, no scholarship, no nothing, And I went back to, I promised myself, I'm like, I'm getting it. And I stuck by a quote. It's actually, it's on my Instagram page. And when I committed, it said, something about, it took me 5 years to get a scholarship. And I said on the 4 years, I didn't get like any accomplishments, like meaning offers, but on the 5th year was like the biggest thing on the planet. And essentially it was when I got my offer. So, and it says the power of never giving up is real. So I never gave up. Just always go 100%. Never, ever give up on your dreams.
No, I feel that, man. That's some powerful words, and like that's
Mhm.
definitely going to hit someone who's just even like on the borderline of like thinking, hey, because people don't understand like the journey. No one's journey is the same.
Exactly. Everybody's journey is different.
Some people can go to like their local high school and get the offer.
Exactly.
Some people might have to go XYZ to end up where they
Exactly.
want.
Mm-hmm.
But you just got to be willing to still believe in your dream and understand, hey,
Even
this is my goal, and this is what I'm gonna do whatever I gotta do to go.
exactly.
Go. And that's something that you had, like you said, like you took what 5 years to get you where you wanted to be. So,
Yeah.
hey man, you believe in yourself. A lot of people would have, especially on that signing day, if they don't have their full offer, they're probably already looking. Again, before I say this, there's no knock on U Sports.
Yeah. Exactly.
But
no knock on U Sports.
they would have instantly been like, oh, I guess I'm gonna just commit to a U Sport team.
Yeah.
NCAA dream is over.
Yeah. Exactly.
You know? But it's
U
like,
Sports is still good football too.
Sure.
I tell that to people. I tell that to my friends that, didn't get the opportunity to go to Clearwater. U Sports is still university football. I got a lot of friends at exactly U of M that are still really good football players.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, bro, like, hey man, you just gotta do what you gotta do and just never give up on your dreams.
Exactly.
I hear that. But I man, just want to say, yo, thank you for your time.
Of course.
Just like quick words, like for you, just on a personal level, like yo, continue doing you, bro. Continue balling.
Appreciate it.
Your mindset alone is gonna take you exactly where you want to like go. And
Appreciate it.
shoot, it took you this far already. So like, just speaking to you, cause like, we spoke to a lot of athletes now, and I remember when we was talking to Alec, because Alec was our first athlete we ever spoke to. We didn't even have a lot of athletes under our belt, but now it's like, okay, no, we spoke to a lot of athletes, and like, I think I can confidently say like you're one of the top 3 athletes we spoke to, in the sense of like the mental game is there. Like Alec was another one who like just met. Maybe it's the Manitoba thing. I don't know. Like mentally, you guys are there though. And that's something was like, no matter where you guys are, you guys are gonna make it out. Like, you know what I mean? Like situation where you guys are never gonna feel like the underdog. And hey, man, look where that led you, man. So I wanted to say kudos to you.
Appreciate it.
Like, congrats on so far, man. Your journey right now in college just started, man.
Yeah, just starting.
Yeah, we're excited to see where this all goes. Now we're gonna be a part of this journey with you.
Keep doing you too. Keep promoting Canadian athletes. That it's awesome to see that you guys are making that step to promote more Division I athletes. It's awesome.
Appreciate that. Yeah, man. I'm telling you, like, it's gonna be hopefully within the next year, if not a year, next 2 years, we're gonna definitely go to Virginia, catch one of your games live, and then chop it up with you down there too. Yeah. So again, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
I'm wishing you the best of luck.